Good afternoon, guys. This is David from Busy Bee Farms, and today we are going to try to bale some hay. I had a email request from a subscriber who went out and bought one of these Massey Ferguson number 12 balers, and wanting to know kind of what we done to prepare to bale hay. So we're going to go over what we go through to prepare, get this machine ready to bale hay. We Matthew and I came out Thursday evening and cut the hay out here, and we're going to go over this machine and what we do to prepare. All right, guys, so again, this is the Massey Ferguson number 12 square baler. Russell, when did you say this was produced? Like the 50s, 60s? Anyways, so Matthew's airing up the tires, and we're just going to go through kind of the grease points that I'm aware of. Now, these are the fingers that pull the hay in. When you're driving along, your pickup pulls the hay up, and these fingers push the hay over into the throat, where the plunger pushes and cuts the hay to where it's got the even square ends, and then compacts it in there. So these fingers do not have grease points or grease zerks. So I don't know if you're supposed to do this or not, but what I do is I just take a grease in my finger and I rub it in all these joints, because it's metal on metal moving. It's gonna have friction. I figure if I grease everything that moves, then I'm just helping it to you know, go that much easier. Your baling twine goes in the back right there. These are how you set your tension on your bale. So as it pushes it out, these create the tension, pushing this down on how tight your bale is going to be. Matthew brought our air compressor. These are the knotters. We're just going to take an air compressor and blow all this out so that it's good and clean, and we can grease everything. Okay, so I just took the air compressor and I blew all that dust off. These are the grease zerks that I know of and know where they are and can get to grease everything. The chain, we just, you know, we oil it, and I showed you all those points up there. But as far as the grease zerks on this, you've got the grease zerk here, 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 there, 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 and there. These are the ones that I know of. Now your knotters and everything, you know, as they work, they clean off any surface rust, and they get to where, you know, at first they won't tie right. You do a few bales, they work out the rust, and then they're fine. Reset the counter so that we can keep up with how many bales we done. Every time that it ties and it kicks, this rotates around. You want to make sure that's good and clean, and maybe some WD-40 on it. It kicks up and hits the counter, and keeps count of your bales. So those are the grease fittings that I'm aware of on this machine that we grease. Now, like I said, I grease all those moving parts. I oil these chains. Seems like there was a grease fitting on the axle. This drive motor here, you want to make sure you check the oil in it. You want to make sure that you got extra of these pins. This is just a little shear bolt, It goes in on this side, comes over here, comes out on the back side, and it's got a nut on it. If you get a big stick or something other that gets hung in the blades, it'll shear this bolt off. You do not want a hardened steel bolt in this. You want a low grade shear pin that is designed that way to keep it from breaking the plunger or one of the rods or something other from the force of this, the centrifugal force of this thing spinning. That's designed to break off to keep from breaking something. Let's see. This is where the coming out of this gearbox is the plunger rod, and it pushes the plunger back. Let's see. On your drive shaft, there are more grease fittings. Obviously, in your universal joints, here on the drive shaft itself, universal joint, universal joint. You want to make sure that all those are greased and lubricated, and that will kind of be what we do to get set up. We use a number 9000 baler twine, and you know, it comes out, goes up underneath, goes through all the loops, and then you tie it to the arms here, and when those knives kick back, it gets it, brings it up here in the knotter, ties the knot, kicks the bale. So that's pretty much what I've been doing, is just blow this out. If you got something that's got a lot of surface rust on it, put some WD-40 on it and then let it run. So as you can see, we just started out real slow, let everything sit here and run, get back moving, just at an idle, letting it go. So I'm gonna start from the front here. You got your PTO shaft coming out of the tractor through your universal joint, short shaft, universal joint, carrier bearing, coming down through your extendable shaft into the weight wheel, or that's where you get your centrifugal force to keep spinning that plunger and everything. So as that plunger moves forward and backward, the pickup will grab the hay with the little hay tines, pick it up and draw it into the throat. The knives, the fingers pull that hay into the throat, which is down inside, where the plunger, which has a set of knives on the edge of it, and then the throat has a set of knives. It cuts the hay for you so that it's good and square. You get that good square edge. Let me see if I can remember how to get this down.
I think we have to pull this out as we pick up. Yeah, it should go down.
Hold this. There we go. All right, so now it's all the way down. So the hay will come in, the knives push it. You can see the plunger with that knife edge on it. The knife edge right there, going through that knife edge. That's how you get that cut, smooth edge on your hay bales. And then as that plunger pushes the hay back, it keeps pushing it back, which rotates this wheel, which tells the knotters when the hay bale is the correct size and when it activates for the knotter to tie the knot on the bale, and then it keeps pushing it out as it makes the next bale. So guys, that's kind of the process of what we do to get ready. Grease all these points and oil your chains. If you didn't want to rub the grease on these, a little bit of oil would be fine. You don't want to put a lot because it'll be getting into your, dripping down into your hay. But I hope that was a help. We'll try to show y'all a little bit of video of us actually making some bales. So right here, Russell has a 4-wheel 3-point hitch brake, and all he's doing is driving down through there and wind rolling the hay up into what's called a wind roll. And depending on how thick your hay is, which this was not super thick, that area back there is real thick, but this right up here was just, you know, kind of a little thin. The price of fertilizer is just ridiculously high. So anyways, you might do 2 rounds one direction and 1 round back to make a wind roll, or you might do 3 in 1. You just keep wind rolling it up until you have a wind roll the size that you want. But anyways, that's what he is doing at this time. But we're going to try to see if we can get this baled up this afternoon. All right guys, I hope y'all can hear me. We've had a little bit of a difficult time getting started, which is normal. First getting started, because everything's been sitting. You got old hay still stuck in the throat, old string stuck in the throat. So far we've sheared 2 pins. We started in this back corner and we were coming down and around, and we made it to about right over here, which was maybe 100 yards, and it just wasn't doing right. It didn't want to tie and kick it out. So we've got that worked out, just cleaning everything out, cleaning out the knotters again, making sure everything is tied on right, and you know, just ready to go. Once we got that cleared out, got it where it could run the plunger again, everything was new string, all the debris was cleaned out, and it started kicking out perfect bales. So I'm almost completely around once. Everything seems to be going good, so I'm just going to show you a little bit of how it's doing. I'm just trying to stay a steady flow of hay coming in to the pickup. I'm not trying to over bunch it. I'm not trying to run it dry. I'll try to get Matthew to get you some footage from the back side. Okay guys, so we just finished up. Matthew said the counter had 128 on there, so I'm gonna say we probably done 120 bales. We probably trying to think that was probably about 2.5 hours that we done that in.
Yeah.
We had a little bit of trouble in the very beginning, where, you know, like I was saying, it had the last bale, you can't get it out, so it's up in the throat, and you know, it sits there until the next time that you bale hay. So that one you're going to throw away anyways. But the strings and everything are also sitting in there on that hay. So it sometimes it'll spit them out, sometimes the string tears, and you have a little bit of trouble getting them out. So we had a little bit of trouble with that, and then the good hay we were throwing back into the intake, and I think that a little bit too much of it got through in there, and that's how we sheared the shear pin off. So we got that all cleaned out, and after that it done really well. We had a few bales that would miss, one string wouldn't tie, and then when I say a few, I'm talking 2 or 3 bales out of that 120 that, you know, the one side didn't tie good, and the bale fell apart, and we just ran it back through. So we are trying to get back to the house, get cleaned up, but we will have to go and pick all that up, get it up in the hay trailer. We're predicted not to have any rain over the next week, and be in the high 90s, which is hot for me. I can do better with the cold than I can the hot, but that's what we have to deal with. So we are going to wrap this one up for today. I hope that this has been educational for the purposes that we intended it, you know, to kind of show all the grease zerks and what we do to get our Massey Ferguson number 12 square baler ready to bale hay. So I want to thank y'all for watching and sticking with us, and if you have any questions, just leave me a comment and I'll do my best to get you the answer. You guys have a great weekend. Take care. God bless.